the garbage disposal, and you hear...
You ready to do this?
Turn on the garbage disposal, and you just hear humming, but it's not turning. Usually the fix for this is to go right up under here with a 1/4-inch hex wrench. Put it right in that little middle thing and turn it clockwise, and that'll usually break free whatever's holding that's locking up your motor. However, if you do that and it turns pretty free, turn on the water. So just hum and no turn, that means the motor's probably shot. So it's time to get a new one. Unfortunately, last week mine was leaking right out of the bottom, and so I took it out of there and unscrewed right here. Took the top housing off. Mine's probably around 12 years old, and mine was really rusted and corroded in there. And I tried to put some JB weld around the bottom part to keep it from leaking, and then there's a seal in here that I broke when I took it apart, and I put it back together with silicone, and it worked for a week. So I thought I was going to maybe get a couple more years out of it, but now it's like seizing. And I think what happened there is it's probably because of the inside was so corroded, probably some parts of the rusted grind plate probably are just falling apart down in there, and I'm just going to have to give it up. The thing is old and pretty corroded. And I also, when I put this back up in there last weekend, that mounting ring there, very rusted and corroded, so it was really hard to get back on. Good news is a new one's a whole lot easier to mount. Here's our new one. It does come with pretty good instructions, but if you're like me, having a visual just walk you through it makes it a lot easier. First thing we're going to do is these are made to either be run with or without a dishwasher. Most of us have dishwashers these days. Dishwasher exit hose, after it spits out all the stuff, is going to go right in here to then grind it up and send it out. Well, that's plugged in case you don't have a dishwasher. So I'm just going to put a screwdriver there and tap it with a hammer. You might have to use pliers to get it out of there, but make sure you get that little tab out.
First thing you're going to want to do to remove this old one is remove the power. Now, there's two ways to do these. They can be hardwired from here straight into the house, but luckily mine has an outlet down here. It makes it a lot easier. All we have to do is unplug it. And the next thing is to just take off the dishwasher inlet and the exit pipe into the drain.
You likely have something different going on here. Anyway, so I have a hose clamp on here, and it's just an 8mm screw that releases the hose clamp, and then that slides right off. Be ready for some yucky water to pour out of there. You want to go get yourself a dirty towel.
Next, we're just going to pull off this little flange right here. Badgers are American made, so everything is in standard. This is a 3/8 inch socket. Your situation is likely not going to be exactly like this. I mean, every piping situation under your house, it could be different, but mine is, we have this pipe slightly sloping down to the P-trap over here, and that pipe's going to come off, and then you have your wastewater going down here, and that stinks really bad, and I'd like to not breathe that if at all possible. That pipe's going to slip off. Your new Badger probably came with this wrenchette. You could just use a screwdriver, but put it in one of these looped holes and just turn counterclockwise, and this is going to come straight down. Turn your old disposal over. Look, I even wrote on there when I put it in 12/6 of 2011. So I've had that thing in there for 13 years. It's not a bad shelf life. The new one does not come with a power cord, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but this old one still works fine. Pull this plate off. It's pretty yucky in there because that's where gross water was getting down in here. We're going to want to take apart the wiring here. And this bracket does not come with the new disposal either, so we're going to keep that. And undo your old wiring here. Okay, there's a ground wire right here. This should just pull right out of here like that. Okay, this little mounting ring just kind of counterclockwise pops out. Right, so the new disposal comes with a new mounting ring, and if yours is looking good up there, you may not need to put this new one on. Just screw the new dishwasher up onto it. That'd be great. However, if yours looks like mine, you want to put the new one on. I don't really know how that so much water got around here and corroded this, because it's technically not supposed to get wet. But this is super corroded, which made installing, or like reinstalling the old one, like super hard. Just undo these 3 screws. No, because of all the corrosion, you almost can't even tell. This part right there is a snap ring, and you just need to pry that off. Actually, it's right there. It all falls down on your face. Up here, pull it out this way. All right, let's clean all this up, and we'll get ready to start putting the new one in. I'm just gonna take a wire brush. There's plumber's putty on here. You ready to do this? All right, we're gonna also get under here and clean off old plumber's putty. Watch your eyes. Okay, so you have to take apart. They have the flange all put together, but you need to take just this piece out. This is the only part that goes on top in here, but we gotta lay down 1/2-inch rope of putty around here. Rope out of this. This part is important, even though it's kind of hard to do, because this seal right here, it's actually probably why I ended up getting water down in my old one, corroding all that. I'm not gonna measure, I'm just gonna estimate 1/2 inch. I think don't be afraid to get a little too much, because once you press the ring down in, you're gonna be trimming off excess anyway. So then you just press the ring down in. Try to press evenly. Now just peel off the excess there. So now you're gonna want something heavy to be on this as you work underneath. We're gonna do this, we don't scratch the sink. Take our old disposal and put it like that. Okay, so back up under. We're gonna put it all in this order. This fiber ring. All right, now we're just gonna tighten these screws evenly and firmly all around. Do it like you would on a car tire. We'll just do a little there. And you'll notice how the putty squished through on this side. So that's a good sign. That means we got a good seal all the way around here. Now we're ready to install the pigtail. Pull this screw out. This is going to give you access down into your wiring. Pull these wires out. The cable connector that we took off of the old disposer, if you don't have that, you're going to want to go buy it. It threads down in like this. And get it good and tight. Got that old pigtail. Run it down through here and then pop it out in here. And then pop out a bunch here so you can work with it. And then when you get that about that far in where all this can tuck in here, then you want to screw this down tight. Try to get that ring around here, get that tight.
What are you doing?
I'm fixing the garbage disposal.
What is it?
Usually when you're wiring, it's pretty simple. White to white, black to black. Black is your hot wire, white is neutral, but we have an interesting situation with my pigtail. Both are black. The green wire is always the ground, and that's pretty clear. You just take this little green screw out and screw that down. But best I can tell by looking up stuff online is the smooth of the black is your hot wire. So let's wind that together with the black. And so just twist this a little bit and then get your wire nut on there. Wind that like this and then do it down good and tight. And the white with that ribbed wire. Just a disclaimer, I am not an electrician, so you might want to double and triple check my advice with somebody else. Go ahead and wrap these with electrical tape. Part of what that's gonna do is if you do end up getting water down in here, this will keep it out of your wire nuts. And just shove these down in there and replace this plate. You should be able to tug on that and it's not going to move anywhere. So we're about ready to put on the discharge tube. This is the one that comes with it, and it's assuming that you go right into a P-trap. That's not how my setup is. It's a little further away. So we're just going to take our discharge tube that I had in there, slide the flange over the tube to there, and then this gasket needs to go right into the discharge side right there. Just
pop it down in there.
Okay, so you put it up on, make sure that all three of those little tabs are over those slide up rails, and then turn it. You can put this wrenchette in here to pull, get it nice and tight. The disposal itself still turns despite all of that, so you can aim your exit tube toward the drain pipe. I'm gonna install my drain pipe first. With mine, it just over here slides into the P-trap, just slides in there. And you want it to push against disposal, so that's the kind of hard part here. This flange right here, once we screw it down, should pull it up tight. It's time to get our dishwasher line back on. All right, depending on how yours is connected. Ours, we had to use this adapter to adapt down from this size to this. When I get it on there good, it seems to have been working. Tightens it down. I just want to hold that straight as I do the hose clamp. Bring all of that, when we tighten that ring down, we actually pushed a lot of our excess plumber's putty out of here. That's a good thing. That means we got a good and tight seal there. Put our new plug in here and just test for leaks. Looking good so far. Last but not least, it's time to plug it back in. Ding. Sounds good.
Save money, learn stuff, do it yourself.